February 2013. New Delhi. The Indian Air Force is supposed to receive 12 state-of-the-art VVIP helicopters, machines meant to carry the President, the Prime Minister, the most protected people in this country. Instead, what arrives is a scandal so deep, so carefully constructed, that it will take investigators a decade to even begin pulling the threads. I'm Vikram. 15 years of covering financial frauds. Contacts inside CBI, inside ED. And I'm telling you, this case is different. This isn't a politician pocketing cash at a border. This is a choreographed international bribery operation spanning Italy, Switzerland, Tunisia, and Mauritius. We are talking 3,600 crore rupees. Defense money. Your tax money. Routed through shell companies with names designed to disappear. The middlemen wore suits. The generals wore stars. And somewhere in the middle, a ghost named Christian Michel, living in Dubai, moving money like air. The helicopters landed. But the men who made it happen? Most of them are still free. Ab suniye dhyan se, because what I'm about to tell you changes how you see every government contract in this country. Go back to 2006. The Indian Air Force has aging Soviet-era Mi-8 helicopters. They are carrying the President of India, the Prime Minister, the Vice President, the entire constitutional machinery of the world's largest democracy. These machines are old. Unreliable. The government decides to upgrade. A global tender is floated for 12 VVIP helicopters worth approximately 3,546 crore rupees. On paper, this is a routine defense procurement. 3 companies compete: Sikorsky from the US, F101 from AgustaWestland, a joint venture between Italy's Finmeccanica and UK's GKN, and one more. Now here's where it gets interesting. The original tender had a service ceiling requirement of 6,000 meters. This was critical. It meant the helicopter had to operate at the altitude of places like Siachen. AgustaWestland's helicopter, the AW101, could not meet this benchmark. It was simply not built for that altitude. So what do you do when the rules don't favor you? You change the rules. Between 2006 and 2010, the service ceiling requirement was quietly reduced to 4,500 meters. This is where it gets personal and dangerous. In February 2013, Italian prosecutors arrest Giuseppe Arsi, the CEO of Finmeccanica, AgustaWestland's parent company. The arrest makes global headlines. Italy opens a formal corruption trial. And the documents that emerge from that Italian court, the intercepted calls, the financial records, they start naming India. Air Chief Marshal SP Tyagi, who served as Chief of Air Staff from 2004 to 2007, is named in the Italian investigation. His cousins, Sanjeev, Rajiv, and Rajiv Tyagi, allegedly received payments routed through middlemen for facilitating access. The Air Marshal denied all allegations. He was later granted bail by Indian courts, but the case dragged on. Then there's the political dimension. The Congress-led UPA government was in power when the contract was signed. The BJP, now in opposition then, alleged that the initials AP in bribe documents stood for former Italian ambassadors' references to Indian political personalities. Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's name was dragged in, which he categorically denied, and no court has established any such connection. The word family appeared in some Italian documents. Opposition parties alleged it referred to the Gandhi family, allegations that were never proven in any court. I want to be clear with you, what I've just told you is what was alleged. Courts establish proof. Much of this remains sub judice. But the allegations alone shook the foundations of India's defense establishment. March 2013. The UPA government, under massive pressure from the opposition and media, cancels the AgustaWestland contract. India had already paid 1,897 crore rupees, roughly half the contract value. 3 helicopters had been delivered. 9 were cancelled. The government issued a termination notice citing contractual violations. Italy protested. AgustaWestland went to international arbitration. But the damage was done politically, diplomatically, and militarily. The Indian Air Force was left with 3 helicopters it couldn't use diplomatically and 9 gaps it couldn't fill. The CBI registered an FIR in March 2013. The ED opened a parallel money laundering investigation under PMLA. Interpol notices were issued. And then, the case entered that peculiar Indian legal twilight zone. Investigations stretched. Witnesses turned hostile. Documents were challenged. The middlemen scattered. Hashke and Gerosa were convicted by an Italian court in 2014. Giuseppe RC received a suspended sentence. But in India, the machinery moved slowly. Very slowly. Ek cheez yaad rakhiye, in India, the length of an investigation is often inversely proportional to the power of the accused. Of all the characters in this story, Christian Michel James is the most cinematic. A British national. Former arms dealer. Lived in Dubai for years in near total comfort while Indian investigators issued red corner notices. He was the alleged key conduit, the man who, according to ED charge sheets, received approximately €30 million to distribute among Indian decision-makers. Michel was not hiding. He gave interviews. He denied everything. He called himself a legitimate aviation consultant. Then, 4th December 2018. The UAE extradites Michel to India. He lands at Delhi's IGI airport in CBI custody. It's the first major extradition victory for India in this case. ED begins questioning. They claim Michel had documents, prayer notes, that mentioned the lady, which the investigating agency alleged referred to a political figure. Michel's lawyers called it a misrepresentation. He denied it completely. Michel remains in Tihar jail as of 2024. He's been denied bail multiple times. In 2023, a Delhi court took cognizance of the ED's charge sheet against him. His trial is ongoing. He maintains his innocence. But here's the uncomfortable reality: the man at the bottom of the chain is in jail. The men allegedly at the top of the chain. Most are free, fighting cases in court, living normal lives. ये देश का एक कड़वा सच है. Let me tell you what the investigation actually found and what it struggled to prove. The CBI filed charge sheets naming Michel, Hashke, Gerosa, former Air Chief SP Tyagi, his cousins, and others. The ED's PMLA investigation traced money flows through Global Services FZE, a Dubai-based entity linked to Michel, and ID's Tunisia, a company used to route payments. What investigators claim they found: invoices for consultancy services that were never rendered. Bank transfers that matched the timeline of key decisions in the tender process. Communication records, phone intercepts from the Italian investigation that suggested coordination between middlemen and Indian officials. What investigators struggled with: the shell companies were designed to dissolve. Many foreign witnesses refused to cooperate. Critical documents from Swiss banks took years to arrive through MLAT Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty requests. And in Indian courts, procedural challenges have delayed the trial repeatedly. A Delhi court in 2023 framed charges against Michel, meaning the trial has formally begun. But completing this trial, with witnesses across 4 continents, documents in 5 languages, and a defendant claiming he is a political prisoner, that is a different challenge altogether. Meanwhile, Guido Haschke and Carlo Gerosa, convicted in Italy, have never been extradited to India. Their cases remain pending. As of 2024, this is where the AgustaWestland case stands. In Italy, Finmeccanica's CEO RC was convicted, then acquitted on appeal, then faced retrial. The Italian courts have gone back and forth. The middlemen Haschke and Gerosa were convicted but serve their sentences in Europe. In India, Christian Michel is in Tihar, trial ongoing. Former Air Chief SP Tyagi, who retired in 2007, was arrested in December 2016. He was granted bail. The charges against him are being contested. No Indian political figure has been convicted or formally charged. The 3 helicopters that were delivered sit in a bureaucratic limbo. India cannot use them for VVIP transport after the scandal, but cannot easily dispose of them either. 1,897 crore rupees of public money gone. In arbitration proceedings, AgustaWestland sought damages from India for contract cancellation. The case went to international arbitration, the outcome of which affects taxpayers further. And the broader damage? India's defense procurement system was exposed as deeply compromised. The defense procurement procedure was revised multiple times after this scandal. Blacklisting provisions were strengthened. But here is the harder truth. 14 years after the contract was signed, 11 years after it was cancelled, no senior political figure, no serving officer of the highest rank, has been convicted in an Indian court. The system investigates. The system charges. The system delays. And the system protects those who know how to use it. ये स्कैम सिर्फ पैसों का नहीं था, ये विश्वास का स्कैम था. A betrayal of every Indian who trusted that their defense establishment was above corruption. Here is what the AgustaWestland case teaches every Indian. When a country's defense contracts are for sale, it's not just money that's stolen. It's security. It's sovereignty. It's the guarantee that the machine carrying your Prime Minister won't be there because someone was paid to put it there. The middlemen are in jail or in Europe. The system moves slowly. But we must keep watching. Keep asking. Keep demanding accountability. If this episode made you think, share it. Subscribe. And stay vigilant. ये देश आपका है.